Hello, welcome to Making It Happen. I'm Mike D. This is the show where we give you information that can help you make some things happen. And more importantly, we talk to guests, local leaders, movers, and shakers that they're making things happen. And our guest today is Mayor of Laconia, Mike Seymour. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, hey, I went to a BIBA meeting. That's Belknap County Independent Business Association. Randy will be happy I said that on the air.
Yes.
And I heard you speak, and I tell you, it was a lot of fun listening to your ideas. And when I got the idea to do this show every couple of weeks on this station, I figured you'd make a good guest.
I'm glad to hear that.
What I really liked as a small business owner, what I really liked was your ideas and your thoughts, and you just had this vision that you don't associate with a, let's just say, a small town politician. the ideas you came across with. So that's why I really wanted to pick your brain. I think you got a lot to share. So.
Well, and I think, talking about your title as far as making it happen, I think making the right things happen, you know, and I think that, and some would argue just doing anything, just movement and trying to change some things that are going on into a positive direction. But I think coming at it is that, and I think every politician probably says this, but I'm not a politician.
Right.
I'm a business person. I've worked for Franklin Savings Bank locally for about 20 years in various capacities, but most currently my responsibilities fall on the marketing, public relations, and retail banking, which is basically all of our frontline sales and business development.
And that's the experience you bring to the table.
Yeah, and I think that brings a unique perspective to the whole viewpoint of how, not just how a city should be run in relation to as a business, but also how the city relates to the taxpayer and the business owners in the community, as well as the whole knowledge of that they are the city's customers, if you will, and I think that just brings a different viewpoint rather than just from a municipal government structured leadership. I think this adds a little bit more of a business flair. Some would disagree that that's or say that that's not a good thing. I think it's a very good thing.
Well, you hear the advice. You hear, obviously run your business like a business if you're running a business.
Yeah.
You hear run your household like a business.
Yeah.
And sometimes us that live in the private sector that are small business owners, we wonder, where did that get lost when it comes to government? So that's why it was very refreshing, and that's one of the points is you kind of say taxpayer as a customer, and then we have theory in quotes as in, have you ever seen that in practice, and what are some of your thoughts on bringing that to life?
Well, and I can't say that I've seen it in practice. I think the only reason it came up as part of something I wanted to see happen was, and again, and as we were had briefly discussed previously, is that to some extent, a city, a town it has a monopoly. If you live there, and the taxpayer has a fixed number of services they have available, and they have to pay a fixed price to do so, either through tax rate and so forth. But I think where it gets lost is to truly have engaged residents of a community. They have to feel as though that they're really part of that community, and I think that's where the whole customer aspect, are we really doing everything we can, and when we make decisions, whether it's our master plan and strategic planning, are we really thinking in terms of, what are we doing to really make the quality of life for the taxpayer better?
And always referring to that strategic plan, I think is it's almost like that checklist.
Yeah.
And you can refer to it, and you're making decisions against that plan.
Yeah, and as I mentioned to the BIBA group, it's one of those situations that if you don't have a clear roadmap of where you're going, you really don't know if, as a matter of fact, I even tried a Yogi Berra quote, and I blew it.
If you don't know where you're going, you might end up somewhere else.
Exactly, that's exactly. See, you
might
pulled it
never
off.
get there.
No, you got it.
There's a few of those.
But that's really what it comes down to. And if you really don't know, and with measurable goals, because it's one thing to say, gee, I'd like to do more of this. Well, how much is more, and what is that number? So I think that's a big factor of, and it has to, and it involves so much. The challenge that a municipality or state or even county government have is that the different circumstances working against it, there's a lot as far as income streams, there's some fixed areas,
Right.
and it's not like a business can diversify and or do something differently with their product line and or service to be able to draw more people in. With a municipality, you're really tied into, and especially right now, what's happening in Concord specifically, the impact that those decisions are having on a local level really tightens the screws to us, and so that's where there's a lot less flexibility. It still doesn't mean that you don't govern yourself, and luckily with the city of Laconia and our city manager and even the councils we've had, they've been very prudent and have been very conservative, and we're now reaping, if you want to say the benefits, is that our reserve fund, or rainy day fund if you will, is well within the tolerance level of where we would want to see for a municipality our size. The key is not to try to dip into that if we don't have to, but it's there for us. So I think, carrying that, you need to carry forward that prudency, but you also need to be able to set your goals going forward as well. In other words, even though right now things are down, we need to position ourselves well so that as things turn around, we're on the cusp.
So you can
of
say fiscally, the municipality has been responsible.
Absolutely.
Of course, we hear, if you just turn on any other station on TV and you're here, out of control spending.
Yeah.
You hear the states are broke, but you're saying at this local level. It's funny. Do you kind of see the pendulum swinging to where that responsibility is just going to be falling more and more on the local levels? To almost, we talked about dig this out of the small business community driving the economic upturn.
Yeah.
Does that seem to be running parallel?